Working from home can be lonely and difficult, and remote workers can often feel isolated and far removed from what's going on at head office. Now, having great communication skills will help this, but it's also vital to spend time and effort team building and manufacturing a happy, vibrant and united remote working environment. And that's why in this week's 3-Minute Business Booster, I'm going to give you 5 simple, quick and easy things you can do to build team spirit, engagement and motivation amongst your remote workers. So if you're just starting out and your team don't know each other that well, a really easy thing you can do is to ask each person to send you a picture of themselves as a baby or as a young child. Now, once you have all these photos, you can then create a slideshow, and at your next team meeting you can just display the photos one by one and let everybody have a bit of fun trying to guess who is who. Now, you can also go one step further than that and send all your team members a questionnaire with 6 or 7 questions on it. So easy things like, what's the best movie you've ever seen, or what's the country you'd most like to visit. Now, once your team have returned the questionnaires, you can group all the answers together so everybody's answer to what country they'd like to visit is on a single page, and then you display all those answers, and then everybody can debate and have fun trying to pick who answered what to which question. Another easy and quick game is to create a story by asking each of your team members to give one sentence at a time. Now, you do this by giving your team the first sentence of the story and also giving them the last sentence of the story and leaving them to fill the gaps in the middle. So for example, you could start with something really silly like, one day in May last year I had really bad hay fever. And then you could say you want the story to finish with the sentence, and that's why it's important I only ever wear one sock at a time. Now listen, this is silly, it's energetic, it's fun, it's spontaneous, and your team will literally scramble around trying to make a sensible sentence from the person who's gone before them, and also try and bring the sentence or the whole story back to the pretty random conclusion that you've given them. So yeah, honestly, it's going to be energetic, it's fun, it's really quick, it's really simple, and it will build team spirit and team morale. Now, you can take this story idea a step further by creating a whole story yourself, but then asking each of your team members to act out a simple scene of your story and video themselves doing it on a smartphone. Now, literally, you then ask for all the clips. Once you get all the clips, you can edit them together, and then you can show the entire feature film, if you like, at your next team meeting. Now, this will go down a storm because everybody will be engaged with it, because they'll be looking out for the part that they played and how that linked into the bigger picture, but also it'll be a sense of achievement of looking for what everybody did and how all the characters of your team work together to produce a larger goal, if you like. Another simple and fun exercise you can do is simply called the stand up and sit down game. So basically all you need to do for this one is just read out a number of statements, and if that statement applies to anybody in your team, they just literally stand up for 5 seconds and then sit down again. So you start the game by making some really gentle statements, like you could say, I have watched every episode of Game of Thrones, and then everybody who's done that, everybody who's seen every episode, just simply stands for 5 seconds while everybody who hasn't stays seated. Now obviously your team will be able to see who stands for each statement, and once everybody's participating, engaged and enjoying themselves and actively standing and sitting, the fun is you can then start asking some more risky and provoking statements. So you could ask, I was regularly put in detention at school, or you could push it further than that and say, I have been skinny dipping at least once in my life. Now I promise you, just the act of being physically involved in the game and standing and sitting will make people engaged, and also the more riskier you can make your questions or your statements, the more laughter and the more team spirit you will provoke. Another really popular virtual game is called 3 Truths and 1 Lie. So this is really quick, it's easy and simple to set up, and that's, you just simply ask each of your team members to write down 3 true things about themselves and 1 lie. And then what you do is you give all 4 statements to the rest of the team, and they discuss it, they debate it, and they decide which of the statements is the lie. The fun thing about this game is it provokes loads of conversation and engagement, and so you have to be willing to let the conversation flow once each answer is revealed. But otherwise it's a fantastic, quick and easy, simple game you can play, which is almost guaranteed to get your team to gel, get to know each other and get that team spirit really moving in the right direction. The fifth thing you can do is encourage interactions and relationships to grow organically rather than continuously trying to manufacture them. Now, the best way of doing this is to create a number of social periods for your team to just hang out and chat. So for example, you could organise for your team to eat lunch together on a virtual basis once a week, or maybe organise virtual drinks and snacks every Friday night. Alternatively, you could try virtual cigarette breaks or water cooler breaks where the team meet, say, once a day for 15 or 20 minutes and they can chat about anything they want. Now, these informal sessions will replicate what's happening in real offices, in that relationships and friendships will grow organically, and that will ultimately improve the spirit and motivation, which will rub off on everybody in your team. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.